You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
You know what they put in the water, don't you? Fluoride. On the pretext that it strengthens your teeth. That's ridiculous.
Now, what will it take for us to get that videotape? The end of the world.
I think you'll agree in that 9/11/2001 was one of the most Hollywood-esque, larger-than-life events that played out on all of our TV screens across the whole world. It's something that we'll never forget. I think most of us can even remember where we were when we found out about what happened and what was going on. I'm sure it doesn't surprise most that are in the truth-seeking community in this time that 9/11 was a satanic ritual. Coming to that conclusion from many different angles, from many different ways, all leading to the same truth, that it was in fact representing the birthing of the new age of Antichrist, the ripping the veil, the bringing in of the beast police state system, and all manner of things, but also a blood sacrifice ritual into the wine press, Samson pushing down the two pillars. But this all correlates to what we've been looking into in the last video, what we've been looking into in regards to the cube behind the veil. It all links in together, and in this video we're going to have a look again through Solomon's temple, Herod's temple, how this all correlates to Jesus Christ when he died and rose again, and the veil was ripped in that temple to reveal the cornerstone that was behind the veil. And this all links together with 9/11 and many different things. So let's have a look at this. So 9/11/2001, IXXI. Many believe, or some believe, that Jesus himself was born on 9/11 3 BC, which is pretty interesting because 9/11/2001 is an inversion of that, 9/11/2001 3 AD. But this event, this horrific event that happened on 9/11/2001, we've discussed this before in terms of the two pillars, like Samson pushing down the two pillars, north and south, plus and minus, just like the pillars in Freemasonry, Yashin and Boaz, plus and minus. So the male and female, the parents, and just like that Samson figure pushing it down in the Bible. And then you've got the child here, which in terms of what we're looking at the moment, as I say, there's many different ways of understanding the nature of this satanic ritual, because there's many different paths and roads that lead to the same conclusion. But the World Trade Center 7 representing that cornerstone. Now remember, Jesus Christ is our true cornerstone, and this all involves inverting. It's to do with the Antichrist. They're trying to open the pit. They're trying to bring in the Antichrist and the age of the Antichrist. So that involves smashing this cornerstone, as per usual, smashing this stone. So just to put it very simply, this is exactly what we're looking at when we look at that. We're looking at the figure pushing down the two pillars and the veil breaking, just like when Jesus died on the cross and the veil was rent, and the cube collapsing, the cornerstone collapsing behind the veil. Now, G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. So that is exactly what that's representing there, including the generative principle. But you see how when these pillars come down, collapsing the cube, the cornerstone, G equals 7, building 7, and then rebuilding into a new tower, which would be the transfigured third temple, but of the material world. Because when Jesus Christ defeated the curse, ripped the veil in, and defeated death and sin, which is, we'll go into in another video how how we see the truth of the gospel through this. He rose again in the true third temple. Jesus Christ is the temple of the living God. He rose again out of the curse of sin and death. The grave could not hold him, and he rose again and became our true third temple. And when we're in the body of Christ, we are safe in our Father's hands. So that G, as we looked before, the Tesseract, the game cube, is to do with portal. Remember, ripping the fabric of time and space. And it's all represented, as I've shown before, here and here again, the two towers with that G in the centre, bringing in Lucifer, opening the window. And 9/11 being a sacrifice into the wine press, level 7 in the womb, the wine press. And the blood of the innocent, as they always do in these satanic rituals, into the wine press. So essentially we're looking at this figure here, Samael, Samson, son of Samael, son of Satan, pushing down these two pillars. You see, this is the Freemasonic G, the square and the compass that he's standing in between and pushing down the two pillars. And of course, building 7 was collapsed. So he was, you remember the story of Samson, when he pushed down the pillars, he was killed. So that would be the same kind of allegory there, the bringing down that and rising into a new tower, rising into a new transfigured tower, the One World Trade Center. And this is what it's all about, IXXI. IXXI is 9/11 in Roman numerals. And look what is in the center of IXXI. It's a hexagon, which is a 3-dimensional cube. And that's what it was all about. It was a direct inversion of when Jesus Christ died on the cross and the veil was rent. This is exactly an inversion. See, that World Trade Center 7, the collapse, the smashing of the cornerstone, a direct inversion of Christ, this is what they're representing, you see. It's the same as the breaking of the egg, the cracking open of the egg, and the rising of the son of Lucifer. You see what's in the center there. It's about portals, it's about opening the womb, it's dimensional, it's ripping the fabric of time and space, bringing down the two pillars of our society in many different ways. Remember, all of these have different layers of meaning, because the spiritual is incredibly deep, and it doesn't just kill one bird, it kills multiple birds with one stone, cracking open the egg, that cube. And this being XX, which is the seal of Saturn, and the compass draws the circle, and this is a square, that's time and space. This is all about bringing down the reality in which we live, essentially, and rebuilding into their new age of Horus Luciferian age that they're trying to desperately to bring in. Remember, 9/11 happened just after the millennium. It happened in 9/11/2001, just after the big hype about the millennium. You see the way that this works? You see the way that Satan is constantly copying, counterfeiting, and the way that Satan is constantly desperate. This is what it's all about, because Jesus Christ, when he died on the cross, he cracked through time and space, because he died on the sword in the stone. He cracked through time and space. There was an earthquake, and people came out of their graves. And you see, when he died and rose again, it was a huge victory over Satan's kingdom. And as such, they are desperately trying to get out of what they are stuck in. They are stuck in the womb, in the matrix. And all of this is contributing over these years, over these end times. As things build up and build up, you see the society changing, doubly each year, doubly, triply, just really changing. This is all a process this is all a process of the beast coming upon the earth. This is all a process of the Matrix coming upon the earth and heading towards the time that the Bible says that the world will start to wander after the beast. So that is exactly it right there. All contained in there. Just like this Dali painting, the rising of the sun, the cracking open of the egg, the heart of the earth, the yolk, the egg, the heart of the earth, the cracking open. We're going to go more into how Jesus defeated Satan's kingdom in the future. And that obviously all involves the heart of the earth, as Jonah was in the belly of the great fish. The Antichrist, the false Christ, comes from the heart of the earth. And it's all about this, guys. It's all about this 9/11 IXXI, the generative principle, as above, so below. Alchemy, fire and water, the perfect storm, hot meets cold. All the same representations. 7, level 7, the womb. The tombstone is the womb stone, the 2 pillars, the 2 towers, with the 3rd building in the centre, bringing it down. And speaking of cracking through time and space, you see how between the 2 pillars here, portal, black sun portal, between the 2 towers, cracking through time and space. And that is exactly it right there. And you see how this is a complete inversion of Christ, of Jesus Christ. This is Antichrist. This was an Antichrist ritual. A complete inversion. Because right there you've got the ISIS figure, the false light, and the two pillars through the twin towers. And with the building 7, so you get them pillars, you get those pillars coming down, you got the figure in the centre of it, bringing these down and collapsing building 7, which would be the cornerstone, the cube. Just like we said about the cube fell open behind the veil in Herod's temple. The cube fell open when Jesus was crucified and the veil broke. Well, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Except this time, this is coming from within the womb. This is coming the other way. This is coming out. Everything of Christ is inverted with the Antichrist. So this is what you get. The 2 towers, the twin towers, the veil, and you'd get this ISIS figure on the cube there, see, on the cornerstone, coming through the veil from the other way. And it's about breaking it out of the womb. It's about breaking the fallen out. All of this coming through the veil. Samsung G. Samsung, son of Sam. Samael. Samael. Another name for Satan. Samael, son of Sam. So Samsung, break this word up. Sam, Sun, G. Between those pillars, like Samson. Samson, son of Sam. Samson, G. The G between the 2 pillars in Freemasonry, within the IXXI, pushing down the 2 pillars, the son of Sam, pyramid there in the logo for Samsung. And it comes from the womb of Saturn. If you don't believe me, if you think that's absolutely ludicrous, well, just keep looking at the evidence which is all around us. Look at this album cover just for one example. Dizzy Wright, look at this. you see there how round the edges it's got the vinyl. Well, the vinyl round the edges stands for the rings of Saturn. So you can see on this album cover called the Golden Age, which is many will know what that is, the Golden Age of Saturn, the return to Eden. So you've got the rings of Saturn round the outside. You've got this lady, this woman in the centre. It's about Cain's house, you know. Coming through that door, she's pregnant. She's pregnant. So this is coming out of the womb. So there you've got right there. This is coming out the womb, which is in Saturn. You've got the mother there with a pregnant belly. The Golden Age, the whole thing is transfigured to gold. So it's the transfigured ox, the transfigured, the belly of the beast. This is shown time and time again. Time and time again. And she's got like an ultrasound. The prince of the power of the airwaves. This is shown time and time again. Them breaking out of the womb, the age of Horus, the Antichrist, the transfigured Isis, the false Jesus, the counterfeit Messiah. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. They want to deceive even the very elect. So you understand that this figure, like the Samson type figure in that role, pushes down the two pillars at the expense of thousands of people as blood sacrifice of the innocent, and then rebuilds into, like the rise of the phoenix, like the new age of Lucifer. And that is exactly what's playing out. And that's exactly what they plan, what the elite plan, what the fallen plan. And that is a direct inversion of what happened with Jesus Christ, because he is the truth. And this is the only way for them to do it, because they have to do what they need to do. They're not playing about here. These are real rituals. These have to symbolically pertain to what it needs to for it to be effective and for it to work. They're not just doing it because they're evil. They're not just organising these mass human sacrifice things because they're evil. They're doing it because there's a very specific and targeted purpose. Even since the days of Aleister Crowley, they've been trying to do this. God bless you guys. And if I get called influenced by demonic spirits for revealing the truth, then persecute away, because I'm not going to stop spreading the truth. I'm not going to stop spreading the truth. I understand your psychological games. I understand those out there with psychological tactics that try and employ them to intimidate, to make you doubt what you're doing, to make you doubt your calling. The one in us is much greater than the one in the world. Much greater. And whatever happens in this life, no one can pluck you out of the true Father's hands. No one can pluck you out of God's hands, because Jesus has saved you. The price is paid. The battle is won. It's a defeated enemy. God bless you all.